Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV and Mick Rubio with another smashing content straight from the back of my head, delivered straight to you. And I have a scintillating panel waiting in the back room, dying to tell you about Jadon Sancho. Of course, we're talking about our beloved number 25, Jadon Sancho, that arrived from Dourtmund, fresh from the press, hot firing in all cylinders, came to Manchester United, but it hasn't been that great. We are not here to slag Jadon Sancho. We're here as a football therapy to look at the outputs, the performance, comparing the likes to likes, but we're also here to say how we can fix Jadon Sancho. Stick around, smash the like, because here we go.
Hello and welcome to Mufc Realist TV. I'm a member of this channel, but you should subscribe or in this show here we're gonna look a cow in the ass. Let's go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Right, well, I feel welcome. Dit is mijn home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Mute.
You're on mute, Mick.
Sorry about that. I was apparently on mute, but welcome back to Mufc Realist TV and Bold Trafford. Again, a scintillating podcast with fantastic guests. We're talking about yet again another appearance from Coach Stu, or 10 Stu. I know, not the stew that you're cooking, but you know, he will definitely cook up some real good stats about Jadon Sancho today. And how are you doing, Stu?
Do you know what? I'm good today. I had a kicker back tonight, and we won. So I'm trying to get the old legs going, because we've got a shameless plug. We've got a charity match against England over 50s on Sunday.
You're not part of the charity match with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the team?
No. Unfortunately, no. We're playing England over 50 semi-pro.
Oh, fantastic!
For charity.
This is what we say. Like, you know, we were finishing off the season. You know, play with one leg, crawl, whatever. You know,
I've got my Zimmer frame. I've got my Zimmer frame ready, Mick. ready to go.
Your
on
prosthesis, right? Do like Stu. You're well over 50 and still alive and kicking. Big up on you, mate. What would I do without my Scandinavian brother from another mother? He's got his Norwegian flag proudly waving, and I see the daylight saving is kicking in Norway as well. It's still dark, 11 o'clock in the Norway. It looks like 2 p.m. in UK. How are you doing, Jarvis?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you, Mick?
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah, good to be on. As you can see, there's still light outside, because that's how it is in northern Norway. We have just in a couple of weeks it will be sun at midnight, so it's splendid living in the north. Yeah. So yeah,
never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. I can see you still have it in the background. Never gonna give you up, right?
Yeah.
Big up, Jarvis. Big up to you guys. Again, I'm going to explain you what we're going to do here today, right? The most important people in the show, it's not us. It's you in the VR room, in the chat room. So big up all to you. You know, smash the like, smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please feel free. It is free because we don't charge dividends like the Glazers do. You know what I mean? No, we don't. Tonight's show, it is all about, we're not here to slag Jadon Sancho. We're not about slagging players. It is more of a football therapy. We're going to look at what is wrong with Jadon Sancho, and we're going to look at an application. How can he be fixed? 100%. So bear with us, and we're going to walk through, like, you know, the Jadon Sancho from the youth ages when he went from Manchester City, to look at his performance and stats when he came to Dourtmund, the breakthrough, and kind of compare apples to apples with his time under 2 years under Manchester United, and just kind of dissect, you know, what's wrong, like, you know, what is not firing in all cylinders, and what application do we need to fix? Yeah. And that is so important that we understand, right? Because as football consumers, we tend to sort of play the FIFA, you know, Xbox system and just sell, keep, right? Flip-flopping left, right, center. If you remember last season, people were going in on Marcus Rashford, you know, he's crap, selling to PSG. all of a sudden, with mental agility, with a little bit of a help, with a little bit of a mental coaching, he came back and did this. That's all it is, mental. Because if your mind is not connected, your body will not follow it. Anyone that's played football or any elite sports management knows that. If your mind is tired, your body will not follow it. Simple as that. So, guys, this is it. We were supposed to have another guest here. I guess he could not make it. Nurdin, where are you? We sent out you the link. But anyway, if you're stuck watching Inter, it's game over. Red Rover, they are through to the final. We've seen 3-0 aggregate, was it?
Yeah.
In that Milan derby. Anyway, so guys, welcome to the stream. Let's see what you guys are saying in the VR room. Okay, there's a lot of people asking about takeover. Big up, big up. Google this is saying he was actually quite early in here. She or he. Nothing is wrong with Sancho, lads. Sancho was always a championship player. What needs fixing is the eyes of those that thought he was world class. Good point. We already started with the punch it. So big up for all of you. Big up, big up. Yale Marlin in the house as well. Yale, good afternoon. New bid from Qatar today. Sounds like the really big bid made. Hi, oh God, here we're talking about the bid here. All right, we will talk about the bid. If you want me to talk a little bit about the bid, we will do. Big up all. Lucky Singh, mega bid. Oh my God, here we go. Yes, £6 billion. Sell Manchester United, will not go Old Trafford till it's sold. Yes. Same here, Lucky. I haven't been to Old Trafford for 7 years, to be honest, right? But we're here to talk about Jadon Sancho. Gone. Fans, please watch pubs until clubs is sold. Yeah. Liljenberg from Sweden. My brother from another mother, from my fellow countrymen. Good afton, hur är det? Allt bra? Yes, jättebra. Listen, should we just start with this takeover? Because I see in this chat room that a lot of people are talking about this chat. Should we just get it out of the chest and move on?
Yes, do that. Yeah. Do that.
So what is the question? I responded to a tweet, basically. It is always for you guys that's been watching my podcast. You've seen that I've been diving into the educational purpose and covering everything, like from shadow bidding and everything, right? And it's clear and obvious that the media is playing catch up. It's clear and obvious that the media are not briefed in. And if they are briefed, they're getting the wrong information from that can be the Ineos camp or, some leaks in Manchester United PLC. At the end of the day, we know that magazines and, social media engagement, and it creates a little bit of revenue in terms of engagement and clicks. Trust me, I know this. But it was never meant to be a 11th bid. You can say that in layman's term that Qatar bids, they were already confident already 3 weeks ago. They have already put an evaluation closely to that figure, what we are talking about, 7 billion. The thing is, what it comes down is to earn-out clauses, is what you're seeing now. It's gamemanship from Rainy Group, playing those two together. Basically, it's like you're playing poker. Will you raise or will you fold? Now we're coming to a conclusion which is going rapidly right now. There will not be any, how do you call it, exclusivity or anything, because that period has already passed, because you had 2 bidders in exclusivity. That's the thing. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of a tweaking, right? In terms of the buyout clause. And that is all you're going to see. The earn-out clauses, what you're going to see. Now, clear and obvious as well, what Sir Jim Ratcliffe or Ineos has done is that have offered the Glazers to stay with 18 or 20%, but they reversed the question to say, we will only buy you the shares, but we will leave you the rest of 18 or 20%, and it's up to you to tell us what you want to do with that 18, 20%. What is the premium price? What is going to cost us to, buy you out within 3 years? And to do so will take extra, that's a red tape, that will take extra long time, because you got to figure out all the legal implications in around it. And even if you pull that through as a winning bid, the majority of the shareholders as well, you have a couple of groups that own the minority of the shares as well, can put an objection in, and if they do so, it's got to go to forensic investigation, audit, and it's going to take months and months and months. On the other hand, you have a very uncomplicated situation where you have somebody that has already gone in with 100% plus a little bit extra. I'm not going to dive into what the little bit extra is, but when it comes down to the final negotiation, it has to do more than, okay, we accepted your bid the way it is, but what is the extra that you are offering as well? Like, we can do another podcast of that. So for me, it's just what I said, it will be straight to go, right? What people are now asking the question, what about the transfer market? We're seeing that we're being linked to Kim Min-jae. We are having almost a close deal. We're talking to players already. Football operation doesn't stand. And the reason per se is that people forget the Bank of America that's actually owning most of the bonds and debts and are the bankrolling credits for Manchester United PLC have gone in to say, look, we will back you in this takeover process. Rest assured that you will not miss out the transfer market, even if it's going to be delayed. So therefore, we offer an overdraft of $200-300 million into your bank account. Once it's been sold, it will be repaid by the new owners. So that's why you're seeing a lot of movement at the moment. So that means that you can clear the FFP. Plus, there's going to be a lot of being players that have been sold in the transfer market. We're looking at about 10 players from Manchester United Academy and some first-team players. So having to say that, that's all I'm going to say about that. So we could do another podcast, but I do expect this to be concluded very, very soon, because it has to be. It has to be, because the new financial, what do you say, Q2 or Q3 starts soon.
Q2 starts, yeah.
Q2, where you have to sort of, right now, you're not charging any interest on the debts or anything. So that means that you have to sell it now, right? But there might be a deliberate reason why you're holding back to announce it, because at the end of the day, you're generating a lot of engagement. You're creating that divide and conquer still, right? This is the Glazenomics. At the end of the day, you don't want to disrupt the season either. You want the players to be focused and finishing off strong, go win the FA Cup. And once you win the trophy FA Cup, then it comes the final crescendo and announcement. This is what I fear will happen, right? So good things will happen, my friends. Good things will happen. Let's move on to Jadon Sancho. I'm done talking about this takeover. So I did respond back to those tweets and to say that, look, this 11th hour, it's a smoke screen as well. It was never the case. That's it, right? Cool. Jarvis, anyone else has anything to say about moderating about the transfer? Let's move on, guys. What about Jadon Sancho? What about we're playing on Saturday? We're going to dive into Jadon. Okay, this is how we're going to do it right now. I'm going to introduce Jadon to the stage, right? I don't see. Do we all see Jadon here?
We do.
Yeah.
Ooh, righty-o. So I'm going to disappear from the stage. Jarvis, you have the controls. You have the right to zoom in on people, whoever is talking, by clicking on them. You know how to do this?
Yeah.
Right?
I will try.
I'm going to disappear from the background. So I need all your superpowers right now, Jarvis. Are you ready? May the force be with you, because Mick is going deep undercover here. All right, so Jadon Sancho, we all know our beloved number 25, Jadon, right? So he's still a youngster. He's 23 years of age, right? Don't ever underestimate. He's still a youngster, still learning his trade. Just remember how you were as a 23-year-old. For me, that was like 20 years ago, plus. 180 tall, 76 kg, still light, right-footed, as we know. Made his first international goal versus Kosovo, right? Number of international caps for England is 23 and 3 goals. Now, I want to start with moving the picture bars here so everyone can see, because this was a young Jadon Sancho back in 2017, 2018, when he actually took the chance, left Manchester City. And the reason why he went to Dourtmund was pretty much that, Dourtmund is a good academy of developing youth and giving the chance to play, first team football. And we see that prodigy in Jude Bellingham and Erling Haaland choosing Dourtmund for a simple reason. He wasn't simply getting picked by Guardiola, etc. If we look at the current statistics, I missed it, right? Sorry. So this is Jadon today with Manchester United, right? That's a big difference. Like young, a little bit older, cool. But if we look, guys, on current statistics of season, one can clearly say it's not bad, right? This is 22-23, right? He's played about 37 games for Manchester United, 2,095 clocked minutes. He has 100% of impact assists, right? 3 assists, 83% of impact on goals. but only registered 6 goals. That is not bad return, to be honest. Guys, do you agree on this?
Yeah, sure. We expect more, but 6
We
goals,
do expect
that's
more.
okay.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the price is also, something that most fans are attaching to the player, right? The expectation. So a lot of fans are also wondering, what is his natural position? What is his main position? Guys, what do you think is his main position?
The thing for me about about Sancho is you've got to look at where he was when he went to Dortmund, and you're quite right to show those images of him as a young boy to turning into a young man. And you're absolutely right, Mick, about the way that Dortmund are able to nurture players. I'm very familiar with Jude Bellingham. I play with football with his old man, so I'm very familiar with how Dortmund work.
Any insights him coming?
I'm not going to say Spain, maybe Spain. One of those, a difficult one. And what they tend to do with Dortmund is to develop them into men, and that's what you need to do with football. The thing with Guardiola is he was putting all his eggs in the Phil Foden basket at that particular time. So Guardiola felt there was only room for one player. Was it Sancho? Was it Foden? And I think Sancho saw the writing on the wall, decided to cut his losses. And I think he made the right move. What's happened to him, and I know we're going to discuss this in the future, but what's happened to him since he dropped on our doorstep is very, very interesting. Now, one of the great things about working with Jarvis for the last 2 years, Jarvis has been following me and supporting me. He knows exactly. I got absolutely vilified, Mick, 2 years ago on another channel. Sorry, I was going to say it, but I won't, because I said we don't need him. He's not the type of profile we need. And I got accused of knowing nothing about football. Jarvis will remember all of this. Watch German football, etc. I have an understanding of football. I have a deep knowledge of football, and I knew at the time there was other areas that were important to us, and Jadon Sancho wasn't one of them. I didn't care about the money. The money doesn't matter. A player shouldn't worry about the money because the money doesn't matter to them.
100%.
What they should care about is their own ability and getting the best out of their own ability. And it's one of those in terms of, and everybody's got their own viewpoint on Jadon Sancho, by the way. Is he a best left winger? Is he a best right winger? Is he a 10? There's no such thing as a left and right winger anymore. They play in a 4-4-2 scenario. You are just talking a left-sided player or a right-sided player with an ability to play out wide or cut in. Now, when you go back to pre-Sancho, when Rashford and Martial were at their height, scoring 22, 23 goals each that season, 2019, 2018, something like that, pre-COVID, what they did brilliantly was attack the diagonal of the box.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were committing defenders. And when you look at Sancho when he was at Dortmund, he was doing something very, very similar, but he also had an ability to do a feint wide or a feint inverted. And what I mean by that is he would almost square the fullback up, and then the fullback, if he was slightly off balance or slightly to the one side, Sancho would feint to go to the side on his stronger foot, the fullback's stronger foot. So he's leaning towards the right, for example. That's the feint. And then Sancho cuts in on his left. So he leaves the fullback in all sorts of problems. Okay. I've not seen him do that for us. If I have seen him do that for us, I haven't seen him do it enough. And what it enabled him to do was two things. A, he could play wide and get the crossing for Haaland, or he could cut across him, either commit the foul, commit the defender to give away a penalty, or go in and take a shot. Something similar to what Anthony is doing right now for us. And then, so you've got this massive ability, and he was also very, very good with his spatial awareness as well. And so my question to you guys is, where is his in-game intelligence gone? Because you don't need to teach Jadon Sancho to play football. He knows the game inside out. He's been doing it since he was 5 years old. He knows the game inside out. So do you need to coach him? No, you don't. So Mick, finally somebody has understood the mind of a footballer, because it is all about the mind.
Thank
And
you.
Jarvis has heard me say this on many occasions. It isn't up to the coaches to play you and pull you out of your doldrums. It's up to you as a man and as an individual. It's
100%.
you're the only one that can look in the mirror, okay, and make a decision on what you are going to do with your life, or make a decision on what you're going to do with your career. And Jadon Sancho is in this period where he must make this decision about what he does with his career and how he goes about it and how he plays himself back into the type of form that he had at Dourtmund. And he can do that, but only he can do that. He's the only one that can do that, because forget that, he's the one crossing the white line.
Yeah, but it's also one thing that, I come from, football management as well, like, from intermediate as well. I played the game as well. But one thing that I always say, the clubs don't manage players. It's the managers' camp that manage the players. So basically, you as an intermediate agent camp need to make sure that everything is okay around them. So as an agent, sometimes you do the 360 service, meaning you do everything for the player, like, marriage counseling, everything, right? So that is what you are doing, right? Another thing is you got to look at your social surroundings. Who do you surround yourself with, right? What is the management telling you, right? And this is kind of been the problem, I think, with Harry Maguire and his camp as well, because they keep bigging him up, like to say, yeah, Harry, you're the shit, you're the man, you're the man. So you instantly start to think, even if you're crap, you're getting like, positive reinforcement, right? But another thing is, we clearly see, like, we as fans judge the performance on the pitch. That is the output that we are looking at. Whatever goes on in a person's private life, we don't know. And there's a lot of things that goes on behind closed doors, to be honest. So yeah, this is the reason why I want to bring it up, because obviously Jadon Sancho, everyone was signing, chasing his signature. We chased him about a year and a half,
Absolutely.
And I want to go into this basically. So, we actually bought him originally for a left winger, right? But no, right winger, wasn't it?
Right.
And for some reason, yeah, and for some reason, Ollie didn't trust him. Ollie didn't use him for some reason. I don't know why. And then he started coming into play on the left. But you can clearly see here, right? The right offensive midfielder is his strongest position on 54%, right? You see that, right? And the left offensive midfield is 40%. So why are we not utilizing him on the right? And why did Ten Hag go and then buy an Anthony, right? So he can also play in the middle, as we can see. We saw, like, as a false 9, right? Because he's very low gravity with his trickery of pace, and as what you said, drop a shoulder, take the man on. But we haven't seen that at Manchester United, right?
Absolutely.
This is what I called, like, I did an analogy of being a turtle, right? Everyone knows the turtle, right? You're protected with this is your, like, your comfort zone. You're carrying your house on your back, and this is your comfort zone. And if you stick out your neck too much, you're afraid to get your head chopped off. So the turtle will stick back in his head again and sometimes pop it out, like, you know what I mean? That's kind of what I feel with Jadon Sancho, in a way that when his neck is fully stretched out, that is the best Sancho. But what we're seeing here is the shyness. There's something going on, right, inside that house. And mental health is serious. I've suffered from it as well. I know what it is, like, to have depression, anxiety, and everything. And you tend to pull inside yourself, and you don't want to talk about it, right? We saw that he pulled all the social media and everything, and that was the clever move from his agent's camp to say, look, cut that shit, just focus, go on training, just focus on your mental ability, right? So I'm glad that you kind of picked it up. But if we look at his career statistics, can everyone see this? Like, I'm using something called Football Database EU.
Yeah.
So you look at the offense, the defense, the playing time, the presence, the discipline, and the VDL, the results, right? Let's start from Manchester United, Manchester City. Of course, he was playing there in the under 21s. Of course, he didn't get much playing time. He decided to go to the B team of Dourtmund, right? That was a tier 4, right? So here you can see here games played. This football means goals. This means assists, and this clock means efficiency. I think he got his breakthrough season when he was given a chance at the Dourtmund A team, 2017-18 season. We had 12 appearances. He had 1 goal, 4 assists, and clocked in about 690 minutes, right? The breakthrough season came 2018-19, when he was already warmed up to the system, coming to a new country as a youngster, learning the German mentality. It takes some time, 100%. You know what I mean? If you move to a new country, like, you got to embed and stuff like that. 2018 was his breakthrough season, pretty much. He had 34 appearances. He had 12 goals, 15 assists, and clocked in the German Bundesliga 206 minutes. Out in the continent, as they were playing, right? I think it was Champions League. He had 7 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist, 436. National Cups, though, this is German Cups, 2 appearances, 1 assist. International, I think this is where he was picked by Gareth Southgate, right? So he had 6 caps, 2 assists, right? So all, in total, that season, 2018, when everyone was starting to notice him, that was all in all, 49 appearances, 13 goals, 19 assists. Now, moving up to 1920 season, I want to speed this up, otherwise it can be very, very boring, right? He had less games appeared. Obviously, might be some injuries. He had 17 goals. That is an increase. 17 assists, but only clocked in 135 minutes. That's less minutes, right? On the continent in Champions League, he had 8 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists, in total 322 minutes played, right? National in Germany, 4 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. International with England, 3 lines, 5 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. So in total, what we're seeing here, 49 appearances that season, right? Am I right there? 22 goals, 21 assists. Now, this is where we started to pick up the interest, where he started to chase his contract. I think he was kind of thinking he's ready to go back to UK. He wanted to play in the Premier League. Following 2021 season, he only did 26 games, 8 goals, 11 assists, and 258. On the continent, 6 goals, 394. National Cups, 664. You can also, I don't have to repeat everything here, right? International with England with 3 lines from the Southgate, 11 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. So in total, 49 games that season, 17 goals, 19 assists, right? And this is where we were chasing him, this period, 21, 20. You know what I mean? We chased his signature, and we were doing all that run around. We finally got him signature to Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He signed him, right? And this is remarkable. He played 29 goals. You see the drop off here: three goals, 3 assists, right? Played 634 minutes. That's more than below here, right? In the continent, I think it was Europa League, right? 7 goals, 1 assist, right? National Cups, 2 goals, 2 appearances, 1 goal. Internationally with Southgate, 1 appearance, 2 assists. So that's in total the first year under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, 39 games, 5 goals, 5 assists. Now we're coming back to this season as it stands today, and yet again he hasn't been given much chances. We know what happened with Jadon. He had some mental issues. He was sent away. So in total, as it stands today, it's 23 goals, 5 goals, 2 assists, clocked in 287 minutes, right? In the continent, we're talking about Europa League, 10 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist, in total 496 minutes. National Cups, we're talking about all the cups. He had 4 appearances, nothing here, right? That means that he's sat on the bench, right? International, same. He wasn't picked by Southgate whatsoever. He missed that penalty. Ever since then, he didn't get a chance, right? So I believe also that penalty miss, I think it was in the Euros, kind of broke him down a bit. Yeah. So guys, so that's how I just want to sort of bring in nuance and contrast, the difference, and we know there is a Jadon Sancho in there, right? If I go on his player evolution, I love this stat. This is the FBDB index, this automatic engineer figure that based on players' statistical performances during the seasons. So we can see when it started 2007, the trajectory is like a stock market, right? It went up to 2019, and ever since then it's gone down, slightly picking up here again 2021, but here from 21 to now 22, massive drop off. But you see the trajectory is going up again. So this is where I believe it's going to go peak up again, right? This is the curves, right? What's interesting, if you look at what I like to look is the player skills, like this is the heat map, the mental agility, the impact, right? So we can clearly see his physical skills are in a 14. That's quite strong, right? For some reason, the mental is rated as 14, but I think it's dropped down into somewhere in here, right? In the range of 6, right? Technical has never been a problem. It's very strong, 14. His offensive attributes is very strong. However, the defense is saying it's very weak. Now, guys, this is what I want to sort of talk to you about in a way. I will remove this from the stage and move it back. You see the neons there, what I'm trying to say. The expectation when you come on a price tag to Manchester United, you did a madness over in Dourtmund, right? You were surrounded by Tadic, you were surrounded by amazing players, youthful players like, Erling Haaland came and everyone. You had a manager that gave you the chance, right? You were part of a system and you did really good output performance in Champions League. And that's what most people watch was the Champions League, right? They didn't watch much of the Bundesliga. However, Bundesliga is totally different league than Premier League. So that's why I'm going to throw it back to you, Stu. Like, is what you said. Is there a massive difference in terms of those stats, what we just saw now, to what 2 years in the making with Sancho? Barring the information that, Ollie didn't play him, he didn't pick him. Ollie was fired. Different system. Ragnick came in, didn't rate him either, right? And now the third manager in 2 years. Does that have an impact on the player's mindset?
Yes, but the question is, should it? And the answer to that is it shouldn't. Because, believe it or not, a professional footballer, and you'll know this, Mick, because you played yourself, you're almost a contractor into the business. You contract yourself in. So, and I talk about this a lot. I talk about making sure that the basics, you eat right, you train right, etc. But you have a responsibility to make sure you keep yourself as fit as possible. You have a responsibility to do everything you can physically to influence yourself and influence the team in a match. It's down to you to do this. And as much as, and again, as a manager and a player, you'll know this, as much as you go in every day and you do your warm up on your bike and then you trot out onto training field, you're doing your one-touch passing, you're talking about a variety of things, but you're not actually learning the game because you know the game, And this is where players, modern day players, should really be taking advantage of analytics, should be going after their training session, doing a little bit of extra training, going into the video room. Right. I've got Man City. I'm playing left midfield. The boss has already told me I need to know everything I can about Kyle Walker. Just tell me everything. What is his starting position? If I take the ball at my feet, am I going to expect him in my back, or is he going to give me 2 or 3 yards? What's he going to do? Does he back his pace all the time, or does he back his tackling ability? You need to know all of these, because although you're playing in a segment area and you've got players you can play off against, there are going to be times where you're going to need to have this one-on-one confrontation with your adversary. So you need to know everything there is to know about Kyle Walker. Is he good on his right side? Is he better on his left? If he takes the ball off of Edson, where does he take it? Does he move inside or does he go outside? Because if I know he goes inside, I'll position myself just slightly infield so I can cut him off. Or I'll make him then go outside and I've got a much better chance of winning the football. You need to know all of this. And believe it or not, Mick, it's basic stuff. This is what winds me up and infuriates me. And what you talk about the way that fans view football is they just view it and they love a player that can beat 4 or 5 players.
eye test
Yeah,
matches.
you know as well as I do, and Jarvis, you know as well as I do. When you're on that pitch, there's nothing more infuriating than somebody who could drop you a 2-yard simple ball that you can then spray a 10-yard ball to the left and get you up the field when this guy is trying to beat 3 players and going into a blind brick wall. That is what Sancho's been doing. He's been going into this brick wall. He's been running into this area where you've got bodies coming against you, and he's not utilising it. And it goes back to the question I said about player intelligence. What's happened to his in-game intelligence? Because you don't lose that, do you? You never lose the intelligence. You always know, because you should be scanning the pitch in and around you. When I've got the ball, what am I going to do with it? How am I going to progress it? Or if I can't progress it, who can I knock it off to? And then I can try and progress myself. He's not doing any of that, Mick. Jarvis.
No, of course.
Not
Jarvis, just want to move on to Jarvis. What's your take on what Stu is saying? Do you agree, or do you have something else to add on that we can?
You know what? I always agree with Stu, except when it comes to Maguire, but that's another discussion. Yeah. But you're touching on some vital points. But when it comes to Sancho's development since he came to United, you know, I watch a lot of Sancho when he played in the Bundesliga. I usually don't watch Bundesliga, but it was a time when Erling Haaland played there. So it was televised in Norway all the time because of him. I was really impressed by Sancho. But what impressed me the most when he played there, there was 2 elements of his game. Okay, Dourtmund have a brilliant side. You know, they had Royce, they had Guerrero, they had brilliant players, and Haaland, of course. And one of the things, you know, Guerrero, the fullback of Dourtmund, he was always running up and down his side and supporting Sancho. So he had runners around him. So it helped out his game tremendously, because one of the things I really am impressed by Sancho is because he times his timing was really good. He takes the ball. He speed up, slows down, speed up, slows down. So it's really hard for the defender to catch him. And when he played at Dortmund, also what I have missed when he come to United is his pace. He's not a slow player, but he's not the paciest player. He's not like Rashford, but the kid got pace. But when he come to United, he never tries to outrun.
He doesn't. That's why I call it the turtle and the hare.
He doesn't trust his pace anymore. So I'm not sure why, but that's one of the main reasons I think he has.
We will dive into
a vital element of his game.
Yeah, we will dive into it. I want to see what
if I just interject again. Yeah. This is. If you're in the comments, you should really take on board and listen to what Jarvis is saying, because he's hit on a massively vital point, and that is during the travelling process with the football, to gain Jadon the space, he would slow the play, and by slowing the play or slowing down the play, is trying to entice the defender to make a challenge or to do something that will allow him. It almost stops the defender in his tracks, and it gives him an extra 2 yards. And then the defender's got to catch up again. It's a massively important point. Nobody ever sees it. Nobody ever talks about it. It happens all the time.
John Johnson, welcome, my friend. How are you doing today? John Johnson is saying Sancho was put on the back foot immediately by the most unqualified manager in United history. Ole chased him for years, signed him, and then benched him. That is the weirdest. I agree with you. And everyone was shouting out for Sancho. We were like screaming out for 2 transfer windows. Finally got him, and then he didn't play him. And why? That is the
Can
question.
I interject 1 minute, because it was after the World Cup, and he was played, and he had to rest after the World Cup, and he had just missed the penalty, so he gave him a month off.
Do you mind? I want to hear what Ten Hag has to say. Hang on a second.
So I appreciate you play on the left wing, because it's the closest to the fence. Where's Weghorst?
Where's Weghorst? That's another classic.
Jarvis, because it's closest to the bench.
Ten Jarvis looking sharp there in the red tie.
Yeah. But I want to dive into the, now that we sort of identified the problem, right? So how can we fix Sancho? Let us do this, right? How do we fix Sancho? Guys, please engage with us. Let us know in the comments, how would you fix Sancho? What do you think is the problem? Because you're the most important players here. Let's go.
What should we do with a broken Sancho? What should we do with a broken Sancho? What should we do with a broken Sancho early next season? Hey, hey, up he rises. Hey, hey, up he rises. Hey, hey, up he rises early for next season.
He's had a check. How are you doing?
Oh my God.
I just have to add the goal bridge, because you know what? A lot of people are slagging players, but what they don't do is to look at how to fix it. Like, you know, I have a brilliant person that just came and joined us. Nuruddin, are you there?
Big up, people. Big up.
Big up. Love and life. How are you, sir? You just came to the right moment. So I don't know if you watched the stream back, but we just basically talked about Jadon Sancho's stats and history before he came. We compared apples to apples. You know, I don't know how much you caught the stream, or did
no,
we?
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch the stream. Sorry, but yeah, in terms of whether to keep what's wrong with Jadon Sancho, whether to keep him or not, I definitely think he deserves one more season to see what's going on, because I think he came in a club that was in turmoil, and then he had 3 managers in one season when he first came. He had his problems at the beginning of this season, and you know, he missed 3 months of football, so we're kind of judging him under certain kind of expectations. But next season there'll be no excuse for me, 0 excuse.
That's it.
I'm hoping that we get somebody takes over the football club, we get more stability season, and then there'll be no more excuse for anybody. And you know that the place where you find out the truth is the football pitch, innit? So once you cross that white line, it's the football pitch is where you really see, you know, what's going on and how somebody's feeling. And then to me, who will be Manchester United future next season. I think that Manchester United is not a place. He's not the first one to fail. Big men is signing to fail. I think it's the way, it's indictment of the way we've been run as a football club for the past decade. And I think that, you know, Ten Hag has stabilized things this season, but we've got, you know, there are more issues ahead next season, and 100%. If it's not backed properly, 100%. Then it's going to be really difficult times ahead for us. But Sancho, in terms of his qualities and stuff, I think we've not seen it yet. We've not seen it in a consistent way.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, and I think that the first season was it was a chaotic football club.
It was. The structure wasn't there, and then you had Ragnick calling out the open heart surgery. Everything's been a mess, and that I mentioned that Nuruddin as well. Like, you know, it does affect the player's mentality, right? If you go through different systems, there's no structure. The price tag comes on your head as well, because fans are expecting you to deliver the Sancho that we bought from Dourtmund, that was brilliant in Champions League and stuff like that. The expectations, right? So, and everything goes around in your social life as well, because we don't understand what's going on behind the, you know, players are like us. We have a social life. Everyone goes through divorces, deaths, whatever tragic emotions, and it does affect you. So how long do you have? Can you stick around, Nuruddin?
The biggest thing I would say on that specifically is that him moving back to the UK, moving back to Manchester, he left when he's a teenager. Yeah, moving back and then getting caught in the trappings of that as a young person. Yeah. It's going to affect him. I mean, he was like that affecting him in Dourtmund as well, but they dealt with it because they're a very stable club. They've got a fantastic football structure. We
covered that before. We did.
That's why they bring so many young players, and they get the best out of them, because there are people working ever so hard behind the scenes that we never know or see, who are putting, stabilizing everything behind the scenes.
Dortmund is brilliant. They are like a farmer club, like, you know, like when you grow like a salmon fish farm, you farm the salmon to they become old, and then they sell them off, right?
Yeah,
In analogy. So that's
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, if Fergie was still here and Jadon Sancho was playing like this because he was bought that much, then I get rid. It's not work. Get rid. But we're not a stable football club. We've not been since Fergie left. We've not been anywhere near a stable football club. We've had bankers playing football managers.
Yeah, true.
We've had players. I mean, I know a lot of people who work at a football club. The stuff that players were been doing since Ten Hag coming, Ten Hag tried to change it, and it's not going to change overnight. Change takes time to really bring in all of his expertise. I know football club. I know, for example, Man City, they get weighed every day. They take a urine test. That's why sometimes you don't see some City players even on the bench, because they have not been doing what specifically what Pep Guardiola's dictated to the medical team and to the fitness and the coaches to have specific types of training and fitness. Manchester United, I talked about it on my channel. I used to go on Masaka at a burger joint, eating burgers, chicken burgers. Like, it's ridiculous. That's the type of thing where Manchester United, you should have like specific diet that you stick to. Everybody loses weight. Everybody is there measured. And I mean, I studied sport at university, and now that aspect of sport, the sports science bit, is incredible. What it can do. An amateur UFC fighter can put together a team that will dictate everything, know that exactly when he needs to train, when his body has to rest, the amount of sleep that he needs. It's incredible that aspect of sports science, how much is developed. And at Manchester United, sorry, we're nowhere near. We're nowhere near. Like I said,
no,
and players
100%.
were allowed to get away. Players were allowed to get away with the stuff, and we already know as well about Sancho. It was always around big holiday celebrations, big, in the calendar. You know, those calendar, the celebration, whether it's 4th of July, whether it's Halloween, whether it's Easter, whether it's, we already know all these. That's when he is, like, quotation marks, injured, tonsillitis. How many times can you fucking get tonsillitis? Manchester's not that big, and everybody knows everybody. Like, so news travels. And there's a lot of things that I could say on here or in Spaces or on Twitter, but I don't want to do that. But we know that he's had his problems behind the scenes.
Yeah, big up, brother. Big up for sharing your insights. And I'm towing your line there as well, because that's the overall build up, and that's the reason why I'm doing this podcast today, because it's not about slagging the player. It's to understand the consequences that you've been gone through, and basically how you can fix it. So what I want to do here, if you're still around, I want to apply my speciality, and it's all about mental agility. I'm going to show you guys a presentation here. Can you guys see everything here?
Yeah.
So this is what I call the roadmap, how to fix Sancho, right? And this is something that we see in Erik ten Hag are already been practicing, but we don't really know what method is. This is what I call, like, the learning agility, the big five, right? This is the mental agility. And is what I covered, like, if your brain is not trained and fit, your body would just simply not follow, right? And I know that I play the game, but I'm also, like, been competing in fitness physique and stuff like that, like Jay Daly, and that's a tough sport. Like, you have to be mentally strong and motivated all the time. Diet. You know what I mean? And that's, if your brain is not trained, if you're not motivated to do it, your body would just give up, right? And that's it, right? Right now, I'm in a slump period. I call it, like, the off period. I don't really want to. I just want to be lazy, and the body's following. I feel like my back is killing me, stuff like that. It's all connected, right? So basically, I want to just cover it quickly, like, how to break it down. Like, well, Ten Hag's coaching principle is nobody's talking about. Yeah, there's tacticals, but it's also mental, like the learning agility, right? What is that? The big five. And this is what we're going to dive into, right? And this is what we've seen with Marcus Rashford. He went away, came back, and this is why he's doing this. So the learning agility with the big five consists of the self-awareness part of it, the mental agility, the people agility, the change agility, and the result, right? Are you guys with me regarding this? So if you break it down, what the self-awareness is, This is the extent which the individual know his own true strengths and weaknesses, right? This is one thing. Yeah, I know I can drop the ball. I know I can do this, but there comes something with the mental one where you start doubting yourself, like, which is the ability to examine problems in unique and usual ways. If that is gone, then you start doubting yourself. And then comes to the people agility, you shy away, even if you're skilled communicator talking about your problems, or some people just invert and don't talk about the problems. Like, it has to do with what type of personality you are. Some people are extrovert, some people are introvert, like, and Jadon Sancho seems like not such an extrovert person. He's a little bit timid whenever he speaks. He's a little bit media shy in certain ways. I never met him in person, but I've seen the interviews. He's like, yeah, like this, right? Doesn't really like it, right? He doesn't like to be in the limelight. And there's the change agility people, and this is the one that is most important, because you need to be, willing to change, as what Stuart mentioned, right? It's down to the individual to change, because the manager is not going to change your agent's not going to change you. But it's up here, it's up to you. It must come from here that you want to make the transformation and change, right? So therefore you have to experiment, you have to be comfortable, but sometimes you have to go through the pain barrier to break that change, right? And then you come to the results agility, right? That will come down to deliver the results, challenge the first time in sort of any situations. And this is what Marcus Rashford has gone through. This is why he does this after every goal situation, but he's gone through this cycle. You know what I mean? And what is laser sharp focus, right? How to fix Sancho is basically simple. He needs to focus on his mental agility, right? So what mental agility is the ability to quickly shift between having laser focus and seeing the big picture, right? Laser focus means that you have to zoom in and seeing the bigger picture and zoom out. They're needed for high performance in uncertain environments, right? When zooming in, we remain present, engaged with our tasks, and efficient. When we are focused on critical details and important priorities, we can execute our tasks with precision and excellence, right? And when zooming out, we identify our larger priorities and finding comfort with complexity, right? You already know, you know what to do there, right? We can see what new skills are needed to survive and maintain an openness learning and an openness to learning them. So you're open already to learn every new challenge. You overcome these obstacles. Nothing will fear me. You shall not pass, right? We can better strategize and then make fresh connections between different things. And this is what I want to come to. Once you realize there's a mental agility, once you realize all these problems and overcome all these hurdles, then you can build a strategy to overwhelm them, to overcome them, right? And this will build the confidence, right? It's a very, very simple slide and presentation, but I preach this all the time when it comes to learning and development, right? Does this make sense?
Mm.
Right. So this is a fix, according to my opinion, that yes, I agree. I told the line with Nuruddin. I told the line to say, yeah, you got to understand what he's gone through, but you also have to look at how to fix the problem, right? And this is what Erik ten Hag has identified, his mental agility. This is what he did with Rashford as well. Rashford came back laser sharp, and this is what he's doing this, right?
Yeah.
Special, like, if you like this. Big up to all of you. So this is my solution how to fix Sancho, and I believe that, yeah, there is a player we want to see more, absolutely, right? But what does he have to do after this season finish? Focus on his mental agility. Just focus on himself. That's it. Mr. Structure, you there?
Yeah. No, that's it. Definitely football, in it, like everything else in life, is about what's between the ears, isn't it? It's about your perception of yourself, the perception to the task or what you've been asked to do. Definitely.
Listen,
I would definitely think that this is what it's so sad, because I feel like if I had their money and the millions, I would employ the best sports psychologists. Like, work with me closely. You know what I mean? If I need to be built up, and I would focus. And the thing about it is that all the money and everything else would even come. More money would come if you're playing week in, week out, top notch, in a successful, and you're part of a team that brings Manchester United back to the top. You are going to make so much money, and you can retire at 34, 35. You can retire then.
Yeah,
you're still young enough to have an amazing life. You know what I mean? You know, if
I have a brother that couldn't be here. I don't know if you know Kojo for 3 in the midfield. You know, he's been here. It's Coach Kojo. He sent a message to all of you, including the fan base, including to you, Nerdin, to everyone. I'm going to play his clip and see what Kojo has to say. Are you guys with me? Yes?
Yeah.
Welcome to the stage, Kojo. We miss you, but here's your message.
Kojo Freeman for podcast. Big up Mufc Realist TV. Sorry I couldn't be there today. Been a very, very busy schedule, but we had to talk Sancho, and when I heard you guys were talking Sancho, I said, yeah, I want to put my 2 pence in, because I haven't done that in a while. There's a lot of context that's missing here now. I think the overall feeling is disappointment. I feel the same way. I really hoped that he'll come and just take absolute control of the league, but it's football. It happens. You know, sometimes these things just happen in sport. Now, Man United have been a very inconsistent club. You can't expect a player, in my opinion, to be consistent in a very inconsistent environment. Different managers, different philosophies, different types of players, different this, that, and the other. Sancho's only been there 2 years, but within those 2 years, we've had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick, and now Erik ten Hag. On top of that, different players around him as well. There's no consistency. Ronaldo comes in, Ronaldo goes out. You know, there's nothing that's just straightforward of Man United. It's been like that since Alex Ferguson and 𝑑𝒉𝒊𝒔𝒕 left. So now I'm not using them as an excuse to, you know, mask his performances. Performances are performances. You know, if you can stand out as the best of a bad bunch, you stand out well, and he hasn't done that. But before I go into his criticism, I will say this: Man United, and Dourtmund are not comparable in the sense that, one, on top of being very different leagues that they play in, and obviously Bundesliga being a lot more open than the Premier League, and I will say that Premier League is getting a bit more open than people like to talk about. Dortmund, even though they've had different managers over the last couple of years, when he was there, I think he was there for 6 years as a youngster growing up or whatever, or maybe 4 years, or maybe we're going a bit too far. The one thing they kept forward was philosophy. Remember I said at the beginning, the philosophy was not consistent, it was not good enough at Manchester United. It has not been good enough at Man United, and at Dortmund at least they have a plan. So when they bring a different type of manager in, at least they know what football they're going to play and what they're going to do and what they're going to bring. So I think when people like him, and even Rashford, because people criticise Rashford a lot despite his goals this season, some people want him sold still, don't understand that. But what I will say is, even him, he came on Louis van Gaal. After Louis van Gaal was Ole Gunnar Mourinho. After Mourinho, it was, I think, it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. After Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was carried for a few days, and then, you know, Rangnick, and then this guy, and that. It's too much, man. It's too much. He's 26 years old. In 8 years in the first team, he's had that many managers, that many different philosophies, that different playing styles, different players around him. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. So, you know, people like him, Sancho, anyone, even Anthony that's come in. Anthony hasn't lit the world on fire yet, but he's getting better. You know, we have to give these players time. Sancho's been there for 2 years. I usually give players 3 years, like I give managers as well. So the third year is coming, and I'm hoping he can really, really shine. And hoping the signings that Ten Hag brings in will help him as well. I think playing with players like Diallo and other people like that, I think will help him big time. Type of similar styles, get into spaces, quicker players around him because he's got a good weight of pass. We'll see what we do there. But no, on top of it, just for him quickly before I end this, it's almost 4 minutes, so I'll make this quick. I think the one thing that's missing from him is decisiveness. You know, there's moments in games where he's beaten 2 or 3 players and he gets into fantastic positions, but the end product, the end decision is just, it's not hitting the right place. And he is one of those players that I think, you know, once he gets into his groove, he can do that. So I'm hoping next year he does well. So how do we help him? Give him the last year. Hopefully Ten Hag can find the best way to utilise him. I think number 10 is where he's best placed. But obviously that's Bruno's position, but we'll see. He's played a bit deeper recently, so maybe that might help Sancho in getting into more of a better position within the team, playing number 10. And more than anything as well, just commanding a more decisive, better decision-making influence from him. Sometimes you don't need players like him to be completely in the game and doing 1-2s at the time and getting on the ball. And no, let him get involved in the right times. He investigates space, he links up play, and he gets in good positions to make an assist or score a goal. And it doesn't have to be spectacular. As long as it works, it works. I go back to the game we played against Everton at home when Scott McTominay scored. Don't forget his assist. Fantastic assist. Got into great space, find the right pass. Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 pence. It's almost 5 minutes, by the way. So I'm sure that's 5 minutes of an hour show. So have that from me. Like and subscribe to this channel, don't forget. And from my channel, Free for podcasts, like and subscribe and all that. Peace.
Thank you, Kojo. The man them speaks fact. Spot on, Kojo. I mean, I'm doing this. Guys, go find Kojo on his channel. It's brilliant. It's does educational podcast called 3 in the Midfield. Amazing. He does also a little bit of work on Talk Sports as well. Amazing. I have all the time in the world to speak to Kojo, right? Because he speaks facts, right? What he said that was exactly what we were trying to say for the whole stream. 100%. It is decisiveness. 100%. Third year, give him a chance to bloom. There would be players like Diallo coming in as well. Competition for places. But he mentioned something interesting. Play him as a number 10. Gentlemen, any comments?
Yeah, I want to hear what Stu has to say about his number 10 position.
Look, I can see where he's going, Kojo, on that. But there's 3 things, if I was Sancho, when the summer arrives, that I'm working on. And the first thing is 5 to 10 yard burst. He's got to improve that, his speed. From as soon as he receives the ball or when it starts to travel, it's not quick enough. That initial burst needs to improve, and he can do that very, 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 very simply over the summer. He also needs to not improve his strength, but his ability to hold off a player better. When he was at Dourtmund, he was quite skilled at that, but he's lost the art of just leaning in at the right time to just lodge a defender or dislodge an opposing player. And then he's got to work on his presence in the final third and the 18-yard box. So for him to offer himself as a 10, he has to have more of a presence on the pitch. I totally agree with what Kojo says, and I can see his ability to be a 10. We've got a better 10 in Pellistri. If Pellistri sorts himself out, because he's got a better lower centre of gravity, he holds the ball tighter, he's a bit more robust, and Pellistri could grow into the 10 better than Sancho for me. But if I'm Sancho, those are the areas that I'm working on. And you're right about his mental agility, Mick. It's 100% correct. That is, nobody could argue with that. And I go back to myself. I'm a centre half, and for me mentally, if I miss the first header in a game, I've got to get myself switched back on immediately. I have to, because to me, to miss the first header of a game is criminal. It means that the central striker has got one over me straight away, and I've got to redress that immediately. But I don't do it by making sure I win the second header. I do it by playing myself into the game, making sure if the ball comes to me, I don't give it away. I don't panic with it. I'm calm, concise, and I deal with it. And then next time the aerial challenge comes in, I'm better prepared. I've set myself up better. If he elbows me, I'm wary. I'm ready for the elbow. If he backs into me, I'm ready for him to back into me. And this is what happens in football. This is what happens in games. And Sancho, he just isn't picking that side of the game up. And I don't know why, because he did at Dourtmund, and I don't know why. So those are the types of things that I would do if I was Sancho, and it would increase my productivity. And as Nuruddin said, it would increase my influence on the game, and that's really important.
Yeah. Interesting. You're on mute, Mick.
So going back to Jarvis, have you say, first and foremost, I totally love what, Kojo was saying, and also I agree what Stu is saying. Would you agree what we are saying? Like, what would you do different? Would you start him in a different position? Do you agree that he needs to work on his self-awareness, his mental agility?
Yeah,
Come back fresh the third season, or give him a loan, give him a sell?
For me, I think the players has to stand on their own feet. I'm not in for accommodating players. We tried it with Pogba. We tried it with many of the United players that hasn't worked in the past. So for Sancho, for him to play, he has to cement his place in the team on the left wing or the right wing. That's why we bought him. I think we have better options in the 10th position anyway. So for me, he should just
No, I agree. I mean, we shouldn't shoehorn them in. Like, and if we saw the graph earlier, like he was bought in, and his strongest position is on the right. With 56%. There's only small percentile in the middle because maybe he hasn't played there, right? But we have players there. But if we're not going to buy a number 10 replacement, or Donny van de Beek is going to be sold, I can see him being a rotational player to Bruno for sure, because the wings are stacked already. I mean, we've seen the likes of Garnacho coming up. He's definitely going to challenge Rashford. You can have Rashford on the left, Garnacho as a substitute. On the right wing, you can have on the right you have Anthony Dos Santos and Amad Diallo. That's two. That's already full house. And then you get like a striker on top. That's it. Neridin, are you there? Ground control to Major Tom. Brother, do you agree what Kojo was saying there, or is there anything that you want to add on?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember the game that I thought he was more central and actually occupied that number area, and it was him and almost like two inverted number 10s. It was Bruno and Sancho. Was the Leicester game. I don't know if you remember, he scored a brilliant goal. He had a couple of more chances, and in the Leicester game, he came in more inside to do the damage, and he actually looked far more comfortable. But yeah, I'm at the end of the day, I'm with Jarvis, I think, and what Stuart said, I think 100%. Me and Jarvis always talk about that. It's funny what Stuart was talking about. Me and Jarvis talk about that majority of times when I come back from the match. I'm like, he jumps out of tackles. He doesn't go into any 50-50. And he's the easiest player when I'm at the stadium. He's the easiest player to take the ball off. He never puts his body in front. He never buys fouls. So the contrast between him and Anthony, you have to really bring him down to take the ball off him, right? And for somebody, Sancho, to have to make really good technical ability, really street footballer, cage footballer, that's what he was. He was a cage footballer from South London.
He was. He played there.
Exactly. So the idea that he can't keep the ball and he's so easy to get the ball off, I find that really, really strange. I'm like,
me too.
It's very easy in terms of like the biomedical of the body, like how to put your body in front so that if people have to get the ball of you, they're gonna have to foul you. You can buy fouls, a lot more fouls, and then people then think, okay, I'm not gonna try to foul him. I'm not gonna try to go try to dislodge him because I know that he'll put his body in front.
Yeah.
And he's lost that ability. He's lost that ability.
That's it. I agree with you. I mean, he
jumps out, and that's my biggest frustration. That the thing about with Anthony Dos Santos is that, yes, Anthony Dos Santos is super frustrating on the ball. I hate the way he's just shooting at the moment. Everything shooting.
But he's trying.
And it's so predictable. Even though, to be fair, I've been screaming for him to start doing the snooker, what I call the snooker shots, going for the near post always, other than going for the far post. And I noticed it more in the Wolves game. He was going more for the near post because he's understanding that goalkeepers and defenders are reading that side. But one thing I can never hold against Anthony Dos Santos is that on the ball and his defensive work and the aggression, the level of aggression and the level of intensity he has, it is day and night between the two players. So that's the type of thing what we need from Sancho to improve on. It's those things. I always said as a footballer when I used to play, I can accept me having a bad game, but one thing that I would be so angry with myself is that if I didn't put it in. If I didn't put myself about, and I don't put it in. And it's exactly the same thing. It's the way that we've been brought up under Fergie, really. And you know, I'm one of the brats who only remembers Fergie. By the time I supported United, when I came to this country, 9 years old, 1990, United win the FA Cup, we win the Cup Winners' Cup. We then win the challenge for the league title. And then after that, I was just spoiled. I went on a train of spoiledness. So the way that Fergie I was brought up was that Manchester United team had to lose the right way. Manchester United players had to have a bad performance, but there was acceptable minimum levels of that. If you weren't putting it in, get the F off the football pitch. It was exactly my frustrations with Martial as well. He doesn't want to get into the moment. He is not going in for anything. He's doing that. So Sancho, for me, is almost like, no, I remember when Rooney was having crap games, Giggs was having crap games, Beckham was having crap games. They always put it in. They put the miles in.
Yeah.
And that is the difference. And
it's
that's
not
what
hanging your head. Yeah.
I don't get that.
I just want to come back to what you're saying there, because you know, you mentioned you played cage football in South London. It's rough area, stuff like that. Anthony Santos played, like, you know, in the ghetto, like, you know, barefoot football. There is roughness and toughness, and there's scruffle and buffle, and you know, technical ability is there, right? But it comes down to, nerding, is the mental agility, the self-awareness. If your confidence is gone, everything, your game is gone, right? Clear and obvious, right? As you said, you've been standing in the stands, like he's the easiest man to take the ball on. He doesn't go to his full ability, and this is what I want to fix. Yeah, because we know there is a player in him. We know that, and the only way is to finish off this season. According to my opinion, take a boot camp summer, work on your confidence. I mean, you find it, because it just doesn't disappear, mate. You know, it's motor skills. You know what I mean? This is something that you're born with. Like, you know, it's muscle memory. You know what I mean? Even if I stop lifting, the minute I go back to the gym, like 2 weeks later, I'm buffed and puffed again, because muscle memory knows, right? Same thing. It's all connected, right? Guys, it's been a fantastic podcast. It's been one of the serious ones, and I hope we don't have to do Harry Maguire next on his mental agility.
That'd be interesting.
That'd be a fun one.
Just a quick one.
On that one, I can't help that guy.
You don't want to be part of it, eh?
Just a quick one. It's quite refreshing to hear Nuruddin speak about, you know, physical toughness as well. I was brought up in the 70s, Mick, and I was brought up to play football the only way, and I still play it today. You know, if I don't walk off that pitch limping, bleeding, you know, or anything, I haven't played, I'll never forgive myself. Never forgive myself. And that is the thing. And you know, you talk about Sancho. All he's got to do is look at what he's good at. Just take one thing about his game that he's good at and utilize that in a game of football, and that will help him immensely. And there's nothing easier than shielding the football by just standing taut, just standing strong. It's the easy way to shield the football. And once you do that, and you get a 2-yard pass off, you can just then walk around. And I know I use the phrase "play yourself back into the game" all the time, but that's what you have to do. You have to do it. If you know you miss a tackle, you miss a challenge, you miss a lightweight, for example, you think, "Crikey, what the hell's gone on there?" I'll redo it.
I'm just going to quote Arnold Palmer, who plays golf. You know, everyone knows Arnold Palmer, right? I started to play golf. He said a very famous quote: "If you get yourself in trouble, you have to get yourself out of the trouble in the bunker," and that's what it is. Yeah. Nobody else going to help you
all the time, and he's got to do it himself. He has to do it, and he's got the summer to do it, hasn't he? He's got the summer to sort himself out. And
guys, just gonna go to the VR room. Guys, you've been amazing here. Sorry, it's been one of those serious podcasts. We didn't joke much, but we have to talk about it. It's a football therapy. We have to look at the players' mental agility, not just slag off the player, but understand what is the root cause of it and how can it be fixed. And I hope you understand what the problem is, right? But the main point is that the player himself needs to take his action in his own hand. You know what it is. Miloš Mitić, 𝒂𝒏 is saying here, I'm going to translate from Serbia, Sancho Dortmund I Sancho Manchester je ogromna razlika. Potpuno je po meni podbacio u ove 2 sezone i nije upravio velika ožeg. Okay, he's basically saying that Sancho in Manchester United versus Sancho in Dortmund is two different contrast of nuances, you know, and he's hoping for a better Sancho this season, to be honest, you know. Jarvis put in a comment, get your questions in and we dissect it 100%. And this is what we're doing now, because we are coming to the end of the show. You know, you guys been amazing. We've been running 1 hour and 14 minutes. Jale Marlin, don't think there is too much future of Sancho at United. He works better in a slower league like Germany. Maybe he should be heading back there, maybe alone or something. Don't know. Yeah. Third season, I think. Third season, make it or break it, you know? This is what we discussed. Like, you know, at the end of the day, how long is a piece of string, right? I think Erik ten Hag will give him a chance. I think Erik ten Hag believes in him, and that's why he's sending him away to Holland to do the training. So third season Sancho will be a different Sancho. And plus, with new signings, new blood in the team, new energy, I think that will make a difference. Going back to Google this, big up, mate. 2 years has Sancho been here. Haaland broke all records in less than season. Yeah, just pointing out. Yeah, well, okay, that's a freak of nature. That's a different type of mentality. Right?
Well, look at the football club that Haaland has gone to. Look at the City. If you're telling me Haaland coming to Manchester United the way that it was under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Haaland is going to be like this. No, he's not. No, he's not, because we saw it already. When Man City was struggling earlier in the season, Haaland, yes, was scoring goals, but some of the games he looked at totally lost. Mm-hmm. So let's have that context right. It's about stability. It's about, you know, footballers. We already know a lot of them. They're different generation to most of us in this chat. Yeah. They don't need that many excuses. They don't need that, but you need to cover all of the excuses so that they have no excuses except for their performance on that football pitch, and that's the difference. Haaland, comparing Haaland to Sancho, it's like comparing a lion to a bloody tiger.
True. You know what I appreciate most out of from human beings is when they put their hand up to say, "I have a problem." That's, you know, and if you come up after the game and you deflect instead of saying it was my fault, I rather respect person like Luke Shaw coming out to say, taking on the responsibility and say, well, a type of Harry Maguire does a stinker, just disappear, never to be seen again, and coming up still being big-headed to see like there's nothing wrong, right? This is delusional, right? So this is what I'm talking about, your self-awareness, right? I just want to move quickly on to what people are saying. Jamie Wayne says, sell Sancho, done with him, CBA, this guy no more. Yeah, it comes down to everyone has different flavors and opportunities, but we're just here to discuss, should we keep, sell, should we develop him? And I believe that there is a player, 100%. Google is saying Jale Marlin Bundesliga is not so much slower. Sancho was made to look good playing in a specific system, 100%, with the specific players around him, like Tadic, etc. People need to stop judging a player on vacuum. Big up.
You still got to perform though, Mick.
Yeah, you still have to perform.
You still got to perform. I mean, I take what you're saying, but you know, if you're a passenger in a team like that, it's you know, the team Dortmund wasn't built around Sancho. Sancho embedded himself into the team, into the system. That's what he did. What he hasn't done is embed himself into our team just yet. It's what he needs to do.
Yeah. No, true. Going to what Google is saying, a 10 needs to have a good space awareness. Watch Sancho on the pitch. He's always 3-4 seconds slower than the run of play. Yeah.
That's right.
That's right. So that's why I'm saying, like, you know, the playman and number 10 that needs to be pressing as well. His physical attributes is not there to play the high pressing line like Bruno do, run after the ball.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we see in the pie chart, like his defensive skills is the weakest ability, like in his playing style, right? John Johnson is saying, Google this, Darmian Darmian. Yeah, we remember Darmian.
Darmian, bloody hell. Crikey.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, even worse, was better player. Mkhitaryan was a missed opportunity. Yeah, Mkhitaryan. What happened to Mickey? He was quite good when he came.
He was an unusual player, though, wasn't he? Unusual type footballer. Very clever player, but a little bit like Donny. We didn't know how to kind of use him right. Very intelligent player, Mkhitaryan. But
cool. just going to what Google is saying again. I'm not comparing the two players, lads. I'm pointing out the fact good players do not need 2 seasons to perform. You can look at time Bruno took as well. Yeah, Bruno just came in straight away. But this again comes to your, how do you say, your self-awareness, your confidence, like, you know, your, how you sort of conduct yourself, right? Both mentally and physically, how you're taking care of your diet, how you're sleeping, everything. You live, breathe, and football. You know, just give you an example, like, you know, just take Diogo Dalot this season. Totally different transformation in Dalot in terms of his mental ability. He's taking care of his body. He's listening to Ronaldo. He's taking care of his diet. And all of a sudden, boom, his performance is astronomical. Big transformation and change, right? So if your mind is already set on it, positive mindset, set thinking, you have laser focus, zoom in, zoom out, you can achieve any other obstacle. But if you're in weak mindset, what we're seeing that we are bottling in games, that is your weak mentality. Cool. Nas saying, welcome to see. Obviously, Sancho is still young, 100%. He's still 23, guys, and can develop, but it's also down to him to force his way into the team. That's what we're talking about. This is the tweet that I'm looking for. The talent is there. Let's hope we get a striker and a midfielder. Fat sustained possession. That's sustained possession. Yes. Big up. That was a very good point, actually. He's still a young lad, 23 years of age. He's still young, still learning his ways. You know what I mean? And what Nuruddin was saying, you know, he came as a youngster, he left, you know, to Germany, you know, different country, new teammates, everything, right? And he came back now. He's 23, right?
Mick, can I just shoot in on that point? Because Nuruddin was touching on one thing. He said we was talking about Ferguson and the old ways, because when we always bought young players in the 90s and early 2000s, Ferguson took care of them. He took them in, and we had like people watching over them. Ferguson were deciding where they should stay, what house they should live in, and all those things. Now with the new ownership and stuff like that, we haven't taken care of our players in the right way. So that's probably one of the things why Sancho hasn't performed, because, you know, he came back to England, back to his old friends, back to his what do you call it, entourage and yes men and all those people who didn't put the expectations up to him and make him work. So that will have to I think Ten Hag has taken care of it, but I hope it will sustain for the coming years.
Brilliant. Before we go, guys, there's one player we need to talk about that fits into this category. Hang on a second.
I need you to promise me that you'll be on your best behavior. I promised other people that I'd be on my worst behavior, and I gave my word, so... Don't make me fire you. You can't fire me. You're acting manager, not office manager, so you have no firing powers. Don't make me pre-fire you. You wouldn't dare. Watch this. You're pre-fired. And when I'm promoted, you'll be full fired. If you get promoted. And if you haven't fallen in love with me by then. What?
Guys, we are coming to a conclusion. We will get new owners. What do you think will happen to Harry Maguire? I think he's on the shadow of the doubt, not fixable. I think Erik ten Hag tried, hasn't worked out. It's time to go, according to my opinion. You know,
I like Maguire, as Jarvis knows. I think Nuruddin probably knows as well. But I think he needs to go for himself.
Yeah,
I think for his own mental health, for his own career, he needs to go. But I do like him. He's had a lot of stick. I know he's had a lot of stick. I could attribute a lot to it and I've spoken about it, and Jarvis knows my viewpoints on yardage and holes, etc. But he needs to go for himself. He really does.
100%. Nuruddin, what do you think? He's muted.
No, I agree. I think he needs to. He needs to go. I mean, it's the same with Sancho as well. I think wearing a Dourtmund shirt and then wearing a Manchester United shirt, different ways, differently heavy. There's a kid called Garnacho, and I was so happy to see him
Yeah.
Absolutely devastated when he got injured. And there are certain players, especially the younger ones. We saw it with Giggs, we saw it with Sharp, we saw it with Rooney, we saw it with Ronaldo, we saw it with a lot of players. There are certain characters to play for Manchester United, and they have that mental thing that you're talking about, Nick. And I just think that Harry Maguire is a good player. He's a good Premier League player, but he's not a Manchester United player. And it's not Manchester United.
I think the jury's out. I don't think that Ten Hag favors him. A manager has to keep the good faith. Like Erik Ten Hag is going, he's never going to slag his player in front of the press, right? But you can see the number of games he played in the Prem. I think it's 13 or 14 appearances from start of the bench. You know, if I were a player, I looked at playing time, right? I don't see a loan being happening. If you're looking to bring in a Kim Min-jae into the squad,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody has to go, and it will definitely be Maguire, because he's not playing Maguire. He's the last on the picking order. We can see that, so it's inevitable. Listen, it's been a cracking show, 1 hour and 25 minutes and counting. It's been more of a serious therapy session call, but I hope we learned something today. And what we learned today, the content, what I want to learn is, guys, don't judge a player based on the eye test. You know, you got to understand, you know, what's going on in the mind of the player as well, right? We are so quick to cast the first stone. You know, I've never been a player FC. I look at the performance, I look at the mental agility, you know, because you know there's a player. For instance, last season, everyone was, you know, throwing stones at Rashford. He came back fresh. Wow, different player. So you should always give people second chances, right? So I believe, this is my personal opinion, I am not Ten Hag, but I would definitely give him the last season, right? And see how we go. If that doesn't work, then cut your losses. That's my honest opinion, because it's an asset that you can cash in on as well. Guys, any final words before we close the shop for today?
Nah, I think we covered it all.
We did.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite.
No worries, Structure. Listen, guys, stay tuned. We are playing game on, what is it? Saturday, right? Away.
Saturday away, yeah.
Friday, we're planning a podcast here. We're going to have top 4, top 6. We're going to have Colleen coming in from the United Stand. We're going to have Mo also from the United Stand. Structure, you will come in as well, hopefully. We're going to look at who had the better season. We're going to have John Sinclair from Newcastle as well. So it's going to be a cracking show. It will be more of a Friday chill, happy hour kind of thing. And it's going to be a lot of bands. But I will post that the link later on. We will just define the time, but we're looking at anything before anything around 8 p.m. UK time to 9. I think it will be 1 hour. Guys, fantastic. Stu, again, thank you for coming in and shedding your light of your football experience and being a semi-pro veteran player as well. Nuruddin, as usual, where can the people find you?
United Real Therapy. Yeah.
We know that. But you've been sort of a little bit in the dark today, shadow bidding. We can't see you.
No, you know what? My phone, I'm on my phone and my camera is.
I'm just joking. We're talking about shadow bidding, right? Operates in the shadow. Love you, man. Love you. Seriously. Thank you for coming on. Jarvis.
Yes.
How was the today? Good. It's still light. Can you see that? Can you believe it? It is 12:30 midnight. Look at it. Look at his window.
I mean, you know, I have a day off tomorrow. Tomorrow is 17th of May, Norway's national day or birthday, or what do you call it? So that's a good thing.
Big up.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Stu, they can find you where? I mean,
you can abuse me at Stu Woolley if you so wish.
Nuruddin, where can they find you on Twitter, socials?
That guy, Mr. Structure. Mr. Structure.
Mr. Lova. Oh, Mr. Fantastic. Call him bombastic. Yeah. Go follow Mr. Structure on his channel. Absolutely smashing. You can see Jarvis there. You can see me popping in. Real passion, real therapy, smashing channel on the road to 10,000K. Smash a like on him as well. Jarvis, where can they find you if you're not hanging around here?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Bowley77, BOLE77. And you can find me on this channel and on Nordin's channel and sometimes on Stu's channel, Weekly Armchair Sports.
Weekly Armchair, yeah.
So I'm everywhere.
And for reference, it's not Todd Bowley.
No. It's 10 Jarvis.
10 Jarvis. Guys, please, thank you for having the patience. Thank you for all the VR room, for all the big ups. We have some more comments here, but we will close the shop. Guys, like and subscribe to this video. It's free, you know. Don't break your fingernail on it on the way. You know, this is the only dividends that we take, you know, likes and subscribes, because YouTube algorithm is not nice to smaller channel like us. But every like you do, the algorithm picks it up and promotes the channel even up. So this, I hope this content has been educational. I hope we learned something today, because that's what we're here for. Guys, have a beautiful evening, and I see you soon. Big up for all of you. Big up for all the panels. Smash the like right now. And don't forget, Glazes out into green and gold until we're sold. Don't fall for the trap with the media spinning. Bye for now. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.